Hi, I'm Stephanie Ricca with Hotel News Now, here today with Jonathan Halkyard, President and CEO of Extended Stay America. Thanks for joining us, Jonathan.
It's good to be here.
So let's jump into the first question. Extended Stay America has been on a multi-year realignment program with a strategy to break into franchising, sell off some of its real estate assets. In the last few months, you've made a couple key sales toward that effort. Can you give us a picture of where the company stands right now in terms of that strategy?
That's right. That's a strategy we introduced in the middle of 2016, and we set out a 5-year plan. So we actually sit almost right in the middle of that 5-year plan. And we're about halfway through. We have sold about 75 hotels out of 150 hotels that we anticipated selling. All of them remained in our system, so they're all now franchisees. And we have also made quite a lot of progress in acquiring real estate sites for what will soon be new Extended Stay America hotels.
So along those lines, how do you anticipate 2019 will close up? I know it's only January right now as we film this, but how do you anticipate the year will go in terms of that strategy?
Yeah, one of my objectives in 2018 was to really accelerate the development pipeline, which we did. And I think in 2019 we'll continue, but probably not at the pace that we did in 2018. So I think this year we'll probably dispose of 25 to 50 hotels to either existing franchisees or new franchisees, but we'll continue the pace that we established in 2018 around new development.
So let's talk about extended stay supply and demand in general. Typically, this is a segment that fares very well, is very recession-proof, but we also see a lot of purpose-built supply in this area. How are you planning for the next, say, 3 to 5 years when you look at where you'd like to see the company and how you'd like to grow it?
Well, it is certainly true that there is growing supply in extended stay, purpose-built hotels, but it's also important to note that many of those hotels don't just cater to extended stay business. They serve transient hotel guests. So you have to be cautious in looking at that supply. So the supply growth isn't quite what it seems. The demand growth is very strong. Purposes including construction and relocation and training programs and the rest, that continues to grow. So our plan is to stick to our knitting. We're going to build new extended stay hotels, and they'll cater to true extended stay customers.
Now, you've been in the CEO role for a little over a year now, correct?
That's right.
How do you see your short-term goals, say over the next year, shaping up versus long-term goals that you have in this role for the company?
Well, when I became the CEO about a year ago, I laid out really 3 objectives. One that was we wanted to just simplify what we did at the company. It's not a complicated business. We didn't want to overthink it. Keep it simple. The second was to focus on the core extended stay guest. That's where home is for our company. And the third, as I mentioned earlier, is to accelerate development. And we've made progress on all 3 of those. I think if you went to our company and you asked most people in our company what's important, they would probably say those 3 things. That's not going to change for the next couple of years. I think that we're going to continue to focus on the core extended stay customer and accelerate the development path. And that'll put us where we really need to be in a few years' time.
Let's talk more about the franchising part of your strategy. That's been a big priority for the company. Any news to talk about on that front?
We do. I mentioned we've sold hotels and those owners are now franchisees, but another important piece of the strategy was to develop new franchisees of our company who would build their own hotels. And we're just delighted that actually in early February we're going to have the groundbreaking of our first franchised hotel. It's going to be in Richmond, Virginia. A bunch of us are going up to celebrate that. And I'll tell you, if you had told me that a few months ago that we'd have that first groundbreaking this early in 2019, might not have believed it, but it's here, and we're really excited about it.
That's great news. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Now, I'd like to close, Jonathan, by asking your thoughts on the U.S. hotel industry as a whole. It's the beginning of the year. A lot of people are optimistic. What do you think some of the biggest opportunities and challenges are for the industry moving into the rest of 2019? A
lot of people came through December of 2018 a bit shell-shocked because the the equity markets were so tough, as were the debt markets. But as tough as they were in December, they've come back as strong in January. So I'm bullish about 2019. I think that we all go into this stage of the economic cycle with some trepidation, but we feel pretty good about the underlying environment. I think the U.S. hotel industry needs to continue to innovate. We cannot take for granted that the demand will be there, that our product will be sufficient. So I think just the pressure of continued innovation and just running our companies effectively, that's always going to be the challenge.